Ladies and gentlemen, your sweet Zionist prince, the traveling clap, back here with another video from the Holy Land. Today we're looking at a clip from Ro Jogan and Akash Singh.
I've seen that clip. It's crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
When you watch it today, like, they were right.
It's very prophetic.
He did it.
Here's Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, who again did not vote for Donald Trump last time. I don't know if he's going to vote for Donald Trump this time. But here he is, because he's, I would say, largely an old school liberal who has woke up to how absolutely devastating the weaponization of colleges and the internet has become to our society.
We got lucky because if this thing that's going on right now, well, actually, I think this thing that's going on right now couldn't be going on right now without the influence of the internet.
Right.
The internet has like created this mind virus that's sweeping through college campuses and also the universities and the Marxist philosophies that they've been pushing in universities because of they've all been infiltrated by Russia, by the former Soviet Union, and now by China and Russia together. For sure, they're influencing. They push the wokest teachers, the wokest professors, the nuttiest policies, and they're literally doing it to deteriorate the fabric of American democracy. They have like plans for it. They've thought about, like, Yuri Bezmenov talked about this in 1984.
I've seen that clip. It's crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
When you watch it today, like, they were right.
It's very prophetic.
He did it.
Yeah.
They did it.
1000%.
Hey, Connor, do we have that clip of Yuri?
Ideological subversion, that is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets used the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism.
It almost feels like that video, 1984, former KGB agent, that video was left by aliens as a little breadcrumb into what was going to happen to us. I don't mean that literally. I don't think it was left by aliens, but like, it's here and there was a plan, and we should know the plan which was largely written by Marx. The revolution will always be about the revolution. All of the rest of it is a sideshow, and the revolution will eat its own. And then that there would be a plan by these people to subvert democracy, to break brains, to demoralize people, COVID, lock people in their homes, get them all hooked on porn and prescription drugs, and all of the like it all kind of makes sense.
You know what's being talked about here is something a lot deeper than stuff that I'm well versed in. So I find it kind of hard to comment on this stuff, but I will comment on it from the aspect of somebody who's been watching the degradation of young people's minds on the internet, specifically with the whole pro-Palestine perspective. And I will say this, it is very, very clear that something nefarious behind the scenes, whether it was a TikTok algorithm pushed by China and Russia, or genuine brain rot under some sort of communist identity, that this flavor of the month, right? This flavor of the month in conflict or activism became attractive to the pro-Palestine crowd, to the people who are looking for an underdog to support without knowing who the underdog is. It's very hard to say that this was something that was premeditated. So, for example, with anti-Semitism and with hatred of Israel, it's predated 1984. I mean, it goes back ages and it goes back different civilizations. College students on Columbia University, Karen and Stacy and all the they-thems on Columbia University, they don't necessarily represent the only echelon of society that's ever hated Jews or wanted the destruction of Israel. But the scary part about it is that they blend really well into the modern day groups of college kids we see today. There's like no barrier to entry. They just kind of blend right in. You would have no idea who's an Israel hater and who would want to see the destruction of Israel or not, simply based on how they look. And that's really, really scary, because it's not like they come from one background. Anybody is susceptible to this sort of mind virus. They could be an Asian student, they could be a black student, they could be a Jewish student. You know, it doesn't matter. They could be any student of any background is susceptible to this sort of brain rot. So, yeah, it's a lot deeper than something I'm really prepared to comment on, if I'm being completely honest. But that's just sort of my 2 cents on it. I hope you do appreciate my commentary regardless, and I hope you choose to support my channel so I can keep doing this amazing work. And I will see you guys in the next one. I love you long time. Goodbye, Klats. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.